Wiseman's View, one of the most breathtaking scenic overlooks in the Appalachian region of North Carolina. From here, you can admire the majestic beauty of Table Rock, a striking mountain that stands out amidst the magnificent natural landscape. Surrounding it is Linville Gorge, a deep and rugged canyon within the Pisgah National Forest, home to one of nature's most fascinating mysteries, the Brown Mountain Lights. The Brown Mountain Lights are described as floating shooting stars or wandering spirits drifting through the air. They appear suddenly, flickering in and out of existence in the night sky, leaving onlookers both amazed and unnerved. For generations, stories of these ghost lights have spread across the region, becoming an inseparable part of local folklore. Some say they resemble massive fireballs, occasionally darting across the gorge at unimaginable speeds, leaving behind countless unanswered questions. Despite over a century of scientific inquiry and speculation, their origin remains a mystery. Today, I will take you on a journey through the stories, theories, and legends surrounding the Brown Mountain Lights, a mystery that captivates nature lovers and stirs both curiosity and a deep, lingering sense of fear within the soul. Let's begin this adventure together. The Brown Mountain Lights were first officially recorded in 1912 in an article published by the Charlotte Observer. The report described strange lights appearing in Linville Gorge, North Carolina, quickly turning them into a local legend that drew widespread attention. However, this was not the first historical mention of these mysterious lights. An earlier account from 1771 by Jean William Gerard de Brom, a surveyor sent by King George III to map colonial lands, referenced nitrous vapors igniting in the air. Though his writing was elaborate and somewhat cryptic, many suspect he was describing the Brown Mountain Lights, though uncertainty remains, as his primary survey areas were South Carolina and Florida, not this region. A more credible account comes from 1854, when Fate Wiseman, a young boy at the time, climbed to the summit of Linville Mountain for a camping trip. That night, he gazed down into the valley and saw massive glowing orbs hovering over the trees, moving from Table Rock down toward the river. His companions later corroborated his story, and the spot became known as Wiseman's View. For over a century, scientists have attempted to explain the phenomenon of the Brown Mountain Lights, yet no definitive answer has been found. Official investigations have taken place since the early 20th century, with numerous theories proposed, none of which have fully debunked the mystery. In 1913, the United States Geological Survey, USGS, sent researcher D.B.C. Sherritt to Wiseman's View to observe the phenomenon. After his study, he concluded that the Brown Mountain Lights were merely reflections from passing trains in the area. However, local residents quickly dismissed this explanation. They argued that there were no railroad tracks nearby and that they were well aware of what train lights looked like, nothing like the strange orbs appearing over the gorge. More importantly, in 1916, a massive flood destroyed several railway lines and cut off electricity in the region. Despite this, the Brown Mountain Lights continued to appear, completely invalidating Sherritt's hypothesis. Following the failure of the 1913 investigation, the USGS sent scientist George Mansfield to Brown Mountain in 1922 for a more in-depth, 2-week study. This time, he theorized that the lights were caused by automobile headlights, train signals, or wildfires. However, these explanations were also met with skepticism. First, reports of the Brown Mountain Lights existed long before the region was electrified, 1911 to 1912, meaning they could not have been caused by automobile or train lights. Second, while wildfires could produce visible light, they could not account for the independent movement and repeated occurrences of the lights over the years. Despite initial efforts, the mystery of the Brown Mountain Lights remains unsolved. In the following years, many other studies were conducted. In 1940, scientists experimented with large artificial lights to determine if they could recreate the effect of the Brown Mountain Lights. However, their tests were unsuccessful. In 1981, Another experiment was conducted using TNT to test whether the lights could be the result of geological activity or luminous gases. Yet, the test failed to produce effects similar to the mysterious lights seen over Brown Mountain. In 1998, researchers set up cameras to monitor the phenomenon over an extended period. While they managed to capture footage of the lights appearing, no scientific explanation was determined. For years, scientists and locals have proposed various theories to explain the Brown Mountain lights. Some researchers believe that the Brown Mountain lights could be caused by natural phenomena such as ball lightning, a rare form of lightning that appears as glowing spheres floating in the air. However, this phenomenon is usually very short-lived, unlike the persistent lights observed at Brown Mountain. Light reflection. Some suggest that the lights could be reflections from car headlights, train signals, or other artificial sources. However, the Brown Mountain lights were reported long before the area was electrified. Will-o'-the-wisps. These lights result from methane gas rising from swamps and igniting in the air. However, Linville Gorge lacks significant swampy areas, making this explanation unlikely. St. Elmo's fire and foxfire. While both can produce glowing effects, neither has been shown to create lights as bright or mobile as the Brown Mountain lights. Many locals believe the lights have a mystical origin. According to legends, they could be the spirits of lost Cherokee warriors or travelers who vanished in the mountains. Others associate them with ghosts, demons, or an unexplained paranormal force. Beyond scientific theories, the Brown Mountain lights are deeply tied to local folklore and ghostly legends. Many believe these mysterious lights are not just a natural phenomenon, but the restless spirits of those with unfinished stories lingering in the mountains for eternity. One of the most well-known legends tells the story of Henry, a slave owner, and Jim, a freed slave. After Jim gained his freedom, the two men mysteriously vanished while traveling through the deep forests of Brown Mountain. No one ever saw them again, and their fate remained unknown. According to local lore, the Brown Mountain lights are the lanterns of Henry and Jim, wandering through the night, eternally searching for one another, but never finding their way back. Another legend tells of a soldier who returned home during the American Revolutionary War after years of fighting, only to discover that his family had been burned to ashes. In the smoldering remains, he found his wife's body but saw no sign of his son. Heartbroken and desperate, he spent the rest of his life searching for his lost child. Many believe that the Brown Mountain lights are his spirit wandering through the mountains, endlessly seeking his son. There is a legend about Lady Adeline, a beautiful woman who was murdered by her own cruel husband. He beheaded her and hid the body in the forest to cover up his crime. But Lady Adeline's soul was never at rest. Each time night falls, mysterious lights appear, believed to be her ghost wandering through the forest, searching for her killer or seeking vengeance on the wicked. Many people still pass down the legend of a woman from the Catawba tribe and a man from the Cherokee tribe. Although their tribes were lifelong enemies, they fell deeply in love and secretly met atop Brown Mountain. Each time they escaped to their meeting place, they lit a torch to guide their way. One night, they were discovered and pursued. In despair, they leaped off the cliff to be together forever. Since then, the Brown Mountain lights are believed to be their torches of love, still burning in the dark night, symbolizing an eternal love. Another haunting legend tells of Belinda, a woman murdered along with her child by her own husband. After their disappearance, no one could locate their bodies. However, on quiet nights, a mysterious light would appear, leading searchers through the dense forest. Those who followed the light eventually discovered Belinda and her child's resting place. Unlike other vengeful spirits, Belinda's ghost is said to have no desire for revenge, only a wish to help the living uncover the truth. The Brown Mountain lights are more than just a mysterious phenomenon. They are a vital part of the cultural and emotional landscape of Appalachia. The stories surrounding these lights reflect deep human experiences, from grief and loss to love and the unknown. Over time, the tragedies associated with Brown Mountain have been passed down through generations, transforming into timeless legends that remain embedded in the community's collective memory. Beyond scientific curiosity, the Brown Mountain Lights have become a symbol of cultural heritage. For the local people, these stories are not just tales of mystery, but a means of preserving history, teaching profound life lessons, and strengthening the bonds of the community. Through storytelling, they keep the past alive and create a bridge between those who came before and those who will come after. Storytellers play a crucial role in keeping these traditions alive. They do more than just retell old legends. They infuse them with emotion, creativity, and personal perspective. By passing down these tales through spoken word, they create a connection between generations, fostering a sense of unity and shared identity. Whether the Brown Mountain Lights are real or a product of imagination, they continue to illuminate stories, spark curiosity, and ensure that the cultural heritage of Appalachia endures for years to come.